Built upon 3 generations, Wayne Kuwaye continues the legacy that his grandfather started.
Understand that my grandfather, Matsu Kuwaye, didn't really like to work on a plantation, although he came in on a contract to work for Honoka Sugar, I believe. And after completing his 3-year minimum, he went into a taxi business, and back in those days, I guess he started it with horse and buggy, and then later on he continued into using automobiles. And then after my dad graduated Honoka High School, he worked with my uncle, his older brother, to run a service station. And after World War II started, my uncle enlisted in the military, and my dad was left home to run the business and continued running the service station. And back then, since a lot of, I would say, Nisei men enlisted in the military, they had to keep up with the demand of Honoka being supplied. So my dad rented a truck and started hauling in supplies for the merchants of Honoka at that time. As the demand grew, we started hauling at that time for the bagged sugars and a few of the supplies for the plantations. Hauled for Shell Oil Company and Captain Cook Coffee Company. I remember those were one of the earlier customers in bulk at that time that my dad used to mention. And then in 1946, after the tsunami demolished the railroad system on the Hamakua coast, that's when the demand for trucking really increased, and well, they had to get more equipment and more employees and started hauling more for the sugar plantation as well as the other merchants in Honoka. And in 1950, the Kuwaye family purchased the Kuwaye Trucking Company from T.O.H. Davies and Company. And at that time, Kuwaye Trucking Company was mainly geared to haul sugar and molasses for the Davies' own plantations. So along with the purchase of equipment came along the contract to haul the sugar and molasses for some of the mills that Davies operated on the island. And I believe it was somewhere in the early 50s that there was a long plantation strike. So we got involved in land clearing and development and road construction. In 1972, the business separated, and then my dad was left with just the trucking. And during that part that we had both trucking and construction, the construction was Kuwaye Brothers, and then the trucking was Kuwaye Trucking Company. And after the separation was made, we continued as Kuwaye Brothers, and later on changed it to Kuwaye Trucking. And my uncles and my cousins went, they operated their business under Allied Aggregates. We hauled solid, liquids, we hauled live. Talk about live, we've hauled animals. And one that really stands out in my mind, and I'll never forget, is when we hauled the elephant for the circus one year. As we were going back, taking the elephant back to the pier, we were in the center lane, and there was a car on the right lane by Ken's House of Pancakes. And I was in the back, And when I saw the reaction of what happened when the elephant decided to stick its trunk out of the trailer and tap on the window of a car that was on our right. To date, the most valuable load that I can think of, and I don't want to even remember what the monetary value was the lens for the telescope up in Mauna Kea. And as far as the wide loads, I guess the widest that I can remember is that big yoke that we took up to the summit of Mauna Kea. Being 22 feet wide, and it was about 40 feet long, and it weighed about 20 tons. So the weight wasn't too much of a factor, but to think that it was done on the old saddle road, the Poinaco extension was not in existence. We had to take that load through Kamehameha Avenue, make that left turn onto Wainui, right where Coronis is, and go up on narrow Kaumana Drive. And we had to get a crew of men to take down a lot of signs and mailboxes before the load passes, and another crew to put it back up. And also the traffic that we had to stop because we took the entire road. Long loads would go about 125 feet. Well, my dad's brother, James, at one time was the president of the organization. And I guess, well, my uncles, James, Edward, and Noble were also with my dad when the business was all together, yeah? And then from 1973, well, my dad took it over himself and I joined in with him. And I don't know exactly when he said, okay, boy, you do it, because I won't be around forever. And I used to tell him, well, where do you think you're going and not taking us? And he'd give me that, there'll come a time that I won't be here. And, well, that day came 4 years ago. Currently, Kuwaye Trucking has 17 employees and 17 trucks, which includes a small flatbed. But
I think the biggest thing is the people I work with. We might not always agree, but we respect each other enough that when we disagree, we still come back and work together.
Not only the community, but this company is really a good unit to work for. It's fun.
Kuwaye Trucking is a group of, I believe, the finest group of individuals with the finest pieces of equipment to provide the finest transportation services.
I would have to thank them for teaching me as much as and being part of my learning curve, that they are very important to my growth. That without them, I would, they're very knowledgeable and they do spread their knowledge to me.
I view them as I view myself. I respect them and I always let them know if there's a problem, you cannot work. Work is not a priority. We're always going to be here. So take care of yourself first. Because we don't want you to be driving and you're thinking of something else. I mean, be safe.
I like that we are one of the safest companies on the island. We have a great safety record.
Well, I think we came a long ways. And we still got a ways to go. So keep on trucking, be happy, and do it from the heart.
Built upon generations. Trend setting. community focused. From the past, we move into the future and beyond.